Welcome to the Why Music podcast, where we talk to independent artists about their journeys, the inspirations behind their music, and ultimately why they make music. This next artist is a Pennsylvania native and fellow North Carolina transplant. With a name inspired by what he strives for, it's clear he's making music from a very personal place. Striving for greatness with every move he makes, I don't think anything will hold him back. Welcome, Trev Truth.
How you doing? Great to have me.
Um, I always like to start with where your story of music kind of all began.
Okay. Yeah, so I started doing music probably in college. It was around like my sophomore year. I was playing football at my school, and then it wasn't going too well. I was getting playing time because I was good, but like there's just something missing. Like it wasn't fully fulfilling me. So my brother had been doing music, and then some of my other homeboys was doing music. So I went to one of their studio sessions one day, and then they were like, "Bro, like these ad libs aren't hitting." So I was like, "All right." So I was like, "You know what? Let me just see what's happening, playing around." So I went in there, and I just sounded good. But I guess like I had been hiding my talent for singing and stuff like that for a while because I wanted to be an athlete. So then I guess ever since I touched that studio that one time, it's just woke up a different animal inside that just kept wanting to chase it.
Um, Interesting that it starts at such a recent point. Did you have any like musical background like as a kid? Like did you grow up singing or anything like that? I know you mentioned like your brother was involved in music, but was that the same for you?
I think around when I was like like 11 or 12, maybe earlier, I used to sing in chorus and I hated chorus. Like it had to be like the probably the worst experience. I hated it so much singing the songs, doing the shows, and kids would look at me and I'm like, bro, like I want to play sports. And then I was singing in church, of course, and then I was singing like songs in the shower, and then I guess it was just a natural gift. Like my mother said, I was always loud. I would always sing really loud. But then when it was course in front of people, I wanted to be very small. So, but yeah, I had a experience singing when I was younger, but I just didn't like it. Probably due to like insecurities and stuff. But every kid has those.
I mean, if sports was the top priority, there's not room for a whole lot else a lot of the time. So,
Yeah, of
um,
course, yes. Sports was a rocky road.
it certainly can be. Um, what do you find most often inspires a lot of your writing?
Events that happen in my life. I'll say, a lot of times writing can be just fun. I'm just making fun arrangements, but I find the best arrangements is when it connects with somebody, like a specific audience. Because for me, I think the best music is music that sounds good, connects with people, and then can just make a moment change. So my song Guardian Angels that I have out, I made that song about a person that I know who I was in a relationship with and it didn't go well, but no matter how bad or good it went, like they were always there. So a lot of people related to it. I got a lot of messages from people that said, "Oh, like this song changed my perception of this and that." I even had one girl, she was in the hospital and she said, "Oh, like your song like made me feel strong to go through what I'm going through in the hospital." And that really changed me. So yeah, personal connections fuels the best writing, I feel.
100%. I feel, and especially when you get to see that sort of reception of it, like, oh, like people are like not only like hearing this and like liking it because, like you said, it sounds good, but it also like what I'm saying actually like means something to somebody else.
Of course, yeah, exactly.
And sometimes it's weird because I've always found it interesting that it's like sometimes the most detailed stories or the stories that you like write about that you feel are so specific to you
Mm.
translate almost even more than the ones that maybe you intend to reach people in a certain way. You know, it's like the ones that are like, I'm just telling my own story. It's like, that's the one that people are really like getting behind and enjoying. And it's like, I'm
Yeah.
just telling a story and apparently you get it too, you know?
Yeah, there's always someone else in this world that's going through exactly what you're going through.
Yeah, that's what like music does a lot for the human experience in that way because we all like breakups like mourning the loss of somebody like big like leaps and bounds in like life. Like a lot of these same events happen to everybody, but it's just like it happens in different ways for everybody. And so it's like we're all kind of living the same life just in different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
If you had to create a new genre around your style of music, what would it be called?
Um, I don't know. It would obviously be incorporated with singing and then rap, of course, but maybe a little like more pop flavor. I've been hearing a lot of it, but let me see, what would I call it? I call it the truth genre, truth music.
um Kind of going into the singing and rap kind of combo. Usually I feel like a lot of times it's like people will claim to be rappers or they will claim to be singers, and it's not a lot of times that you see that in both. When it comes to kind of creating the music that you write and everything, is there like, oh, I want to write like something that's more like a rap, or like, however it kind of manifests, is if it's like a freestyle that kind of turns into something, or just, I'm writing a song to sing it. How do you kind of approach, like, when you have something that you want to write about, which way you kind of take it?
I think it depends on the beat, like the arrangement of music, because when I first started out, I was trying to rap and I was like, this doesn't work as well as when I do more like melodic singing stuff. And then the melodic singing stuff started working perfectly great. And then now I'm trying to get into a state where I can do both. I can turn it on and off with a light switch. Like I've been working with my homeboy Ray Mays. He makes music as well, and he's been teaching me how to be able to turn it on and off. But when it comes to writing, I'll probably take a piece of music, listen to it, and I'll sit down like, okay, this is a ballad, or I'll be like, okay, this song is a rap where I'm turned up with the guys. Like I'll pretty much choose it based off of the music and just how. For me, I feel like my ballads are more powerful than my rap songs, but my rap songs are developing to be more powerful now just due to like word choices and just beat choices. But beat choices is kind of hard for me at this moment.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a reason that certain songs are taken in certain directions, and I think it's really cool that you kind of build it off of that as the root, and it's like, okay, this is the vibe. Where are we going with it? What story are we telling? How are we running with it? um I mean, I also am in the same kind of boat with, I feel like just in general ballads are more impactful than pretty much anything else, because it's so stripped down, and like you're supposed to be listening to the words, and like the vocal is supposed to be like the most impactful part. Whereas rap, that sometimes that gets lost in like, how the beat is and how all of that transpires. But I mean, if you're telling the story and you're kind of figuring out even more and more of how you want it to be conveyed, it just will ultimately come together more and more. And it's cool that you're kind of seeing that transform more for your rap centric stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Is there a release that you think best embodies who you are as an artist, in terms of like what your sample song would be to show somebody, to be like, I'm an artist, here's what I do. If you like this, you'll like the rest.
Yeah, of course. It's my single package called Who Cares. It has my song Follow Me on there, along with my song called Daytime/No Drama.
We did it, hella riches. Brand new chain in my neck, my girl in the kitchen. I was way down bad, I swear that I'll never miss it. Hold me up a little more, I take my cup and I sip it. I might have been tripping. Yeah, everything paid off. Driving in the foreign, swear nobody gon' say nothing. Like I'm with my brothers, only focus on paper. Haters, I take her to the club, she gon' shake some. They gon' follow me, take her out of the city. That's what her mama wants, I swear that's what I need. Follow me, I come before in car, I get expensive clothes. Some shit I never seen, some shit I never seen, some shit I never seen. Yeah. cheat on. One Louis bags and new Dior sweaters. She just on me and my intention make her feel better. It set my granny free when she sent them divorce letters. Abusive nigga out her life and make her feel better. Parting ways with unproductive ways, so I don't have to work a 9 to 5 another day. I need a rack a day, babe teases on the J's. Can't talk to sheep in my absence like the 5th of May. Shout out to anime. I got an Asian John that she like to watch anime. I ain't seen my labor reps on my Saturdays. My brody ain't on paperwork, but they gon' spread that Dre. Expect me gon' stomp your face out. Open up to a bitch, man, kiss it nada. We hit the molly, grab it all, he got a Gucci problem. I was stuck in my ways. I made a song with Ray Mays, I'm on a bigger stage. I'm in a different lane, riding in the rape with Jay. He had that vision, no, we keeping that forever faith. I hit D100 with a council, he gon' hit that chase. Shorty, she want me, but I can't give her the time of day. But still be on the block with game.
I think that song perfectly encapsulates who I am, like as an artist as well, because I remember when I made the song, like I had no expectations for the song to be great. I pulled up to the studio and I was like, you know what, let's make something from scratch, the beat, everything. And I was like, you know, I'm feeling for a pop vibe. And then it just flowed out of me. Like I didn't write anything. It was just flowing out. And that just like was how I was feeling in the moment. And a lot of times the feelings you're feeling in the moment are the ones that are the most powerful than when you sit down and write. So that one fully encapsulates the follow me with the pop vibes and the just speaking real of what I want to achieve. And then Daytime No Drama, just, you know, a beat vibe with a creative beat switch. It just encapsulate how I want to be as an artist, along with impactful, feel good, along with turn happy, encapsulating different musical arrangements.
It's a good kind of all-encompassing little balance. You know, it's got all the vibes there, all of the, you know, everything that you can kind of expect, which is always great, and really cool that they're kind of like paired together in that way. But I mean, and I always think like you said, like you started that one from scratch. Starting with kind of a different framework can sometimes go to shit, and sometimes can turn something really cool. And
oh yeah, sure.
So but sometimes we're like, oh, like let's try this, and then it's like maybe that wasn't the right move. Maybe we just don't do that again. But doesn't seem to be the case. Especially if it was one that you were like, okay, we're gonna put this out. But no, that's really cool. If you had to pick 2 or 3 artists that you think your music is like a combination of, who would it be?
I get this one a lot, and a lot of times throughout the time it changes. But for me, I'd probably say it's probably a mix between like Lil Tecca, The Kid Laroi, and Drake, probably around those lines.
What about each of those makes you put them in your lineup?
I think like Lil Tecca is probably like the way his vocals are, like the deep vibrato with the highs, and like the way he runs and flows sometimes can be similar to me. The Kid Laroi, sometimes how he sings, and he'll like have a very, very deep singing content, and like the way his vocal inflections are. And then Drake a long time with like his beat selection, the way he'll switch, and oh, he'll be lit here, he'll be sad here, he'll be talking about real shit here. So like it'll just his song arrangements, and sometimes like his beat choice, and how like he'll do singing and rapping. And he is the artist that popularized that a lot now. So, and that's also my favorite artist as well. So probably those 3 artists is for sure why.
Yeah, I think yeah, Drake is like one of those that's like in still like the rap world, but he's not like the rapper, like the rappers on like who else you'd put on that list, because he does like some melodic other things. With oh God, what was I had a question, and then like I was like listening to the rest of the answer, and now it's just completely out of my head. I had such a good question, and now I'm like blanking on it. Oh, here we go. Do you think that with everything that you've kind of created thus far, and maybe even have kind of coming soon, do you think that you've found what you would consider to be like your sound, or do you think that that's something you're still exploring or not really defining in a way of like, I'm just going to keep creating what feels right and just kind of see where it takes me?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of artists, I feel like every artist, even ones that have already like that made it, are always evolving their sound, but they found like the core of like what is the base of it off of. So I feel like I found the base, but evolution is always being changed and stuff like that. But I feel like it took me a while to find out a good pocket of where I feel like I always sound good, where I'm always able to start off. But there's always room for improvement. But I feel like I'll say like 65% I found my sound, but there's always room for improvement in all aspects.
Yeah, and I think even like improvement and evolution can almost look two different ways, because like you can get stronger in what you're already creating and like solidify that idea more. And you're evolving as an artist, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your sound is like evolving. There's like evolving vertically, and then there's evolving like tangibly, like adjacent and elsewhere into like other
Yeah.
things. Like you can evolve into other genres. So I mean, I think, trying out different things is always great, but if you know kind of where you're at, you're just kind of building the ladder then at that point. It's not a matter of, oh, we're going in a different direction. It's we're building.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
What is an outside passion of yours that you feel impacts who you are as an artist?
Um, I love sports. Like I probably already said this, but like I'll sit and watch football for days, watch just news reports for days. Like I love to be informed on like just all aspects of like media, like sports media, movie media. So like I watch sports for like hours and I'll be like, oh, that player's name can be used in a song, or what he just did can be used in a song, or like I'll watch a movie, uh whatever he did can be used in a song. Like it's just I feel like movies and sports encapsulates what's going on in the world today, because you could even use a movie scene or anything to be incorporated into a music video. Uh, like the way the script was written in the movie can be used to be made in a video or a song arrangement, like everything like that. So, but because I study media studies in school, so that's also another passion of mine as well, along to go with music, and it goes with music hand in hand as well. But probably just sports media, movie media, script writing, news, all aspects of those things as well.
Do you think that your background in sports kind of has fed into your artistry, not even from like the consumer point of view and like I can watch football all day and I like the sports media, but like from the like athlete mentality and all that? Do you think that has impacted you as an artist?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Definitely like work ethic wise, and realizing like sometimes people are cutthroat. Like they'll say some of your stuff is ass. Just like a coach will get on you, like, yo, this is bad. You need to go again. Like I won't ever get in my feelings and cry or be like, oh my gosh, he doesn't like it. Like, okay, next play. Like how it is in sports, like next play. Also with working on your craft, or like lifting weights, doing this, like you're always doing something to better your game, whether you're watching highlights, lifting, stretching, like same thing for music. Like, okay, I might not be recording today, but I might write a script for my music video. I might plan out my next move. I might write a song. I might pick some beats. I might get stuff in line. It's like no matter what's happening in the moment or what's going on, you're always finding a way to improve your game or craft, so that you're never behind anybody else. So you can always get to that point, because I haven't got to the point I want to be. So just like in sports, like some dudes who've made it in the league haven't even made it to that point. So you got to always make sure that you're working and getting better than the next person, because there's only one number one spot. So you got to work to get there.
That's very true. Um, no, I always appreciate that, because it is more than just writing the music and putting it out and checking off the boxes. And so like I'm a huge advocate for just kind of at least a little bit of your day, or even like a chunk of your week, should be kind of put towards that, if that's ultimately what you're working for. And I think you're the second like college athlete that I've had on here before, and it's interesting because it's you both have said the same thing where it's like it's just kind, I mean, especially if you're competing at that level, like it's instilled in you to just kind of keep striving for ultimately what you're wanting to achieve, especially like if you're the kind of person that wants to play at that level and you do it, like there's a reason that you do it because you want to work for it and want to do those things. And so it just kind of carries over and translates into what is now the placeholder of football. It's like it was football and now we're here.
Of course, yeah, 100%.
But I like what you said. There's only one number one spot. It's like, yeah, obvious, but it's like you don't really ever think about it that way. It's just like that's what you can aim for, but it's like I guess we really can't all be number one.
Yeah, you can.
What is the ideal listening scenario for someone to consume your music in?
My friends say like, "Oh, your music is for long car rides." Like you're just on the long car ride with your family. They can just play a Trev Truth playlist all the way through. At first, I took offense to it. Like you can't play my song at a party. Like it can't get lit. But then I went on a couple long car rides with my family, and I'm like, these moments are important because you can talk during a car ride, you can do this, but like if y'all really just sit down and dive into a whole artist's catalog on a car ride, that means they have like so much to offer when it comes to their music. Like you can have late night car ride vibes, you can have, oh, we're all singing together as a family. Like so at first I didn't really appreciate the long car ride thing, but I feel like that is a good experience as well. Long car rides, sitting down analyzation, like maybe in the studio. I love listening to music in the studio, so that's probably another way. But I'll say long car rides.
I get the answer. I get very popular with that is just in the car, period. I think everything, I mean, any music can be fit for the car. It's more about, what's the vibe around that or who's there, whatever's going on. But I like the long car ride idea in terms of like longevity. It's not just like, oh, like this song you could put on a playlist that like you listen to in the car. It's like you really can kind of like there are certain artists that you can kind of go through their catalog because they, it's not the same thing over and over. There's variety, there's new flavor. It's like like everything is going to be offering you something new and talking about like telling a different story in that way. And so that's a really cool kind of like twist on what sometimes can be a very obvious answer, but it's like, it's like that's the kind of car ride you want your music for.
Oh, yeah.
What is it that you think sets you apart from other independent artists?
For me, I feel like it's probably like vocal talent and like being able to switch over from one to the other. Because even to this day, I feel like I haven't really made a song where I really use all of my vocals. Like I really haven't used like every like inch of them or every note that I can really pull out just due to like the way I've been making music now. And I really want to try that. So I feel like vocally I could really make like some really powerful songs that I've heard. And also just being able to switch flows and switch different arrangements. A lot of artists can switch flows and switch arrangements, but sometimes one to sound better, one to sound the other. So I'm currently working on being able to switch over and making sure that they both sound great. So no matter if I'm in the studio and they play any beat, like I'll be able to do anything on it. Like, so I feel like I can do anything on any beat, anywhere possible, pop, rock, country, anything. So yeah.
Are there any like not necessarily genre specific, but like different styles than kind of where you've been so far in terms of like the kind of beat and stuff like that you see yourself venturing into and sort of like trying out in new ways, or like are there any specific plans for that, or you're like are any ones that you have like on your bucket list or anything like that?
I want to try like alternative music where it's just like stripped down. It's just one guitar, one piano, and it's just like raw. Like I want to try that, like similar to like Billie Eilish or Adele, where like there's not a lot of musical instruments going on to mask what's happening. Like you really hear like and feel like the emotion and what's really going on in the song, and really just hear like what's happening. Maybe even some country guitar, maybe something like that. Just raw music. I feel like I want to get down to the raw experience.
Bring in all the acoustics.
Yeah, acoustics.
So with that and how you feel like, your voice is versatile, can be used in these different ways. If you were to expand into all these different styles and not even in a one-off kind of way of like, I'm trying this, maybe I won't like it, maybe that'll be it, but it's like it's like one of those questions of what is he going to do next? What style can we expect? What is it that you feel like, without just like, I guess, dumbing it down to being just your voice, what is it that you think as an artist you carry from one song to the next, that if you were to put out an EP, let's say, that had like 5 different songs and each of those were a different style, what is it that makes that a cohesive body of work? What is it about your artistry and your performance and whatnot that kind of grounds those songs and saying maybe they're different styles, but they're still very Trev Truth?
I'd say probably just the writing, the content of it, because you could say anything on any beat. You could be sad on the turn beat, country beat, pop beat, anything. So I think it just deal with content and personal experience. Like if somebody hears my music, like, oh, I know Trev went through that on that song because I was with him. So I'd probably base it all around events. Like this song is about this event, this song is about this event, this song is about this event. And so people who knew me or know me be like, oh wow, he went through that. Or like people who also like don't know me at all will be like, oh, he went through that too. So like it'd be like personal relation through it, which is like intertwined with the music as well. For just emotional purposes and writing purposes. Cause sometimes you might make an EP. One of the songs is just I was just vibing, like I was just enjoying the moment. But even when you enjoy the moment, you can still incorporate like personal experiences. Like maybe I was high or I was drunk at this moment and I wasn't just saying stuff, but maybe like I must say like, oh, like I literally was like doing this, and the third.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it's hard because there are so many people that are writing music, but it's as kind of we evolve as artists, we start to kind of develop a certain way in which maybe it's not like specific sorts of language that we use, but the way that we tell these certain stories that makes it seem like, even if like, for example, if you wrote it, but like somebody else was singing it, it still is translating as you because of how the story is approached and everything, which always makes everything all that interesting. It's like, when if you are deep enough into like an artist's catalog, you can kind of start to notice, okay, it's not just that it sounds like their voice. It's like, no, this is going on in it and it makes sense and it's them. But it's like, it's always really interesting to see the artists that kind of move from genre to genre and like just kind of transfer themselves into other styles of music that still somehow manage to sound like them. But it's always really cool to see. So interested to see where the acoustic alternative stuff takes you.
Yeah, of course.
What impact do you ultimately want to have with your music and with your artistry?
I get this question a lot. It's changed over the time period. I know when I first started making music, it was probably for like, okay, I want to get a deal. I'm trying to sign a deal, provide for my family, just cause like I'm good at it. But like as time went on and as time like is like really like show like how I'm maturing as a person, I think I just want people to be able to be like, I just really enjoyed this song and I want to come back for more. Like, and like my music will last forever. Cause like even after artists die, like Michael Jackson's dead, his music is still solidified no matter who plays it, where it's played. Like it'll be played on the radio, weddings, and on the sound system at the mall. Like it doesn't matter. Like I want my music to be able to just be heard in all situations and it will last forever. Like when I leave this earth, like everybody else does, like people will still know Trev Truth's music and it'll still last and people will still play it and tell their kids about it. I remember when I was playing this way back when and they show their kids and it just passes on forever. Like that's the original goal, like of what happens. And it also shows how much somebody loves music. Like you can really tell who really loves music by like what they're doing or like how they like carry themselves throughout the artistry. Like some people will make music for a little bit, they'll stop. Oh, I haven't made music in a while. Like, but somebody who really loves it, like they'll really listen to everything, soak it all in, enjoy every aspect of it. Because music is just, for me, it's just the most enjoyable thing here. Like if I don't have music, I don't know how I would function, to be honest.
No, yeah, I think it's interesting what kind of carries as timeless and stays that way. And I mean, you could argue really anything is because it exists inevitably forever, really. But yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, yeah, you could go to a wedding this weekend and probably hear something from Michael Jackson, and stuff like that. And it's a cool goal to have because then it's like, that even after your time comes, there's still a part of you that's kind of existing in the world that remains. So yeah, I mean, and to have a timeless impact is all the more, interesting because it's like, it's not just, oh, like he's talking about like current issues or something like that. And it's like meant for modern times. It's like, no, 50 years from now, it's like, it has that, God, what's the word for it? The words are not working for me today. I don't know what it is. That sort of like longevity, that evergreen, like it stands the test of time. And that's really cool because it also is just like not even just something you're striving for time wise, like to achieve, but something that like you're kind of also thinking about as you're creating what you're creating. It's like, how can we make this something that'll continue to have the impact that it should?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, of course.
I think that brings us to the final question, which I think you might have started to answer a little bit, but it's ultimately the concept behind the podcast, which is why music?
Why music? To me, music is just everything. Like music is my life. I have people ask me all the time, like, would you rather? It's like, would you rather watch a movie or like not be able to watch movies ever again or never be able to listen to music ever again? And I'm like, I gotta take the movies. Like I can cut the movies. I gotta have the music. Like music is what I wake up to, what I think about all the time. It's for me, my analogy is like my own drug. Like I could listen to a music and it makes me super high, super low, turn me up for a game, turn me up to do this, the gym. So I feel like music is just its own like organ inside of me. Like that's its own spot inside of my heart and everything. So music is just probably what I'll do forever and listen to forever, whether it goes up or down. So yeah.
Yeah, that's ultimately, I love asking that question because it's like I said, the concept behind the podcast, but it's at the same time, it's like, how do you answer that? Because it's like, what do you mean? Why music? What am I supposed to do without it? It's like,
Yeah.
even if like, even the non-artists of the world are like, what if music was like, it's just like, you can't compare it to anything else. You can't necessarily replace it with something else. It's just, it's its own thing that has this really cool role in everybody's world. And it's like, I'm just supposed to take that away? No, you just can't.
Yeah.
The world doesn't function without music.
Definitely doesn't.
No. All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of this episode of the Why Music podcast. Check back again next week for another conversation with another independent artist. Thanks for listening.